Greetings, it's Tickets Please, and with less than 3 weeks left to go, it's time to talk about the Oscar race. The BAFTAs and the DGAs both happened this weekend, so we're heading into the home stretch of the Oscar race. We do have some more guild races that will get decided before the Oscar ceremony on March 9th. As per usual, we will tackle where I think all the categories are heading, starting with the shorts and ending up with the best picture. Take a look at that roadmap listed, and we will begin. Starting with the shorts. In animated short, I have the BAFTA winning short, The Boy and the Mole, The Fox and the Horse, leading the way right now. With an ostrich Show Me the World is Fake and I think I believe it, and My Year of Dicks in the top three. The latter short is available on Hulu for what it's worth. Over in documentary short, right now I think Stranger at the Gate is winning, with How Do You Measure a Year and The Martha Mitchell Effect rounding out the top three. The lack of the precursors for these categories don't really help much with predicting, which is why they're always so hard to get right. And finally, in live action short, we got Le People reclaiming the lead over An Irish Goodbye, which did win a BAFTA award in second place, and The Red Suitcase currently in third. Now we're going to go ahead and tackle the audio categories, starting with Best Sound. The motion picture sound editors will unveil their winners on February 26th, and the Cinema Audio Society reveals theirs on March 4th. Without major changes, I'm sticking with Top Gun Maverick as the leader for now. BAFTA winner All Quiet on the Western Front jumps to second place, with Elvis rounding out the top three. Now over at Best Score, all the precursors have been revealed. Babylon did win the Golden Globes, and All Quiet on the Western Front picked up the BAFTAs. The other two winners were Tar for Critics' Choice and Woman King for the HMMAs, neither of which received an Oscar nod. I'm going to say Babylon is still ahead of this category for me for now, with All Quiet now in second place, and The Fabelmans over in third. I did see Rihanna's halftime show on YouTube, and considering she was pregnant, I didn't think it was too bad. Although maybe she should have considered doing Lift Me Up on her set list, it might have helped its chances. But for now, I'm going to stick with Not Two for Triple R in a lead, with Lift Me Up in second place, and Hold My Hand rounding out the top three. This should take care of the audio categories, so let's take a good look at the visual ones. Starting with film editing. The ACE Awards drops on March 5th, the last chance for another film to have a fighting shot at film editing. Right now, the leader remains the Critics' Choice and BAFTA winner, Everything, Everywhere, All at Once. Top Gun and Elvis round out the top three. Over in visual effects, Avatar, The Way of Water has won everything in its path. This kind of feels like one of the most sure things right now in the Oscar poll. That film is leading my list as well. Rounding up the top three, we have Top Gun Maverick and All Quiet on the Western Front. Now we take a look at cinematography. The ASC Awards are handed out on March 5th. Since the Critics' Choice pick of Top Gun Maverick didn't make the cut with Oscar, I'm going to have to rely on the BAFTA winner, which did. Which means that All Quiet on the Western Front is now leading the field heading into the home stretch, with Elvis and Empire Light in second and third place. Winning 3 of 4 precursors is enough for Babylon to stay in the lead in production design, The fourth precursor is won by Elvis, which is enough for it to stay in second place. Rounding out the top three is the title we've heard a lot about so far today, All Quiet on the Western Front. Next up is Best Costume. The Costume Designers Guild reveals their winners on February 27th. Based on what we know in the other categories, I'm going to go with Elvis, winning the costume design at the moment, with Black Panther, Wakanda Forever, and Babylon in second and third. Having swept the precursors is enough for me to stick with Elvis, leading makeup and hairstyling. Just behind him are The Whale and Black Panther, Wakanda Forever. And that should take care of the visual categories. Now we're going to tackle the screenplays. In original screenplay, the Writers Guild reveals their awards on March 5th. I can't help but think the Banshees of Inisherin, which did surprisingly well at the BAFTAs, will take that Oscar home. And I'm over-adept at screenplay, my bad. The gap between Critics' Choice winner Women Talking and BAFTA winner All Quiet on the Western Front has narrowed considerably in the last few weeks. But those remain the top two choices at the moment, with Glass Onion taking third place. By the way, that film was pretty good, I thought. The USC Scripter Awards will pick their winners on March 4th, and the Writers Guild Awards will be on the 5th. Now, heading back to original screenplay, I can't help but think the Banshees of Inisherin, which did pretty well at the BAFTAs, will take that Oscar home. You could argue maybe a consolation prize for not getting director, or if my gut instinct is correct, Best Picture. Everything Everywhere All at Once remains in second place, with Tar crashing the top three. And this should take care of the written word. Now it's time to take a look at the films up for Best Pictures other than, well, Best Picture. Take a look at animated feature. We're still waiting on the Producers Guild Awards on February 25th and the Annie Awards on the same day. Until then, Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio, which, as it turns out, was a good film, will stay ahead, with Marcel the Shell with Shoes On and Turning Red rounding out the top three. Likewise, waiting on the PGAs is documentary feature. All That Breathes is still a bit ahead at the moment, but gaining some momentum is the Russian expose Navalny, which won the category at the BAFTAs. Fire Love, which was the third eligible film nominated for the PGAs, is, take a wild guess, in third. Last but not least, in the other Best Pictures categories, International Feature. Having won the BAFTAs gives me enough assurance that All Quiet on the Western Front will stay on top. Argentina 1985 slips ahead at close for second place. Now that we've done with the other Best Pictures, it's time to take a look at the Acting Awards. By the way, a reminder that the Screen Actors Guild will reveal their winners this Sunday on February 26th. Let's start with Best Supporting Actress. The gap between Angela Bassett and Carrie Condon has narrowed a bit after the latter won the BAFTA. But I think it was expected, considering that the awards took place in London. I think they're going to remain in the top two in that order, with Jamie Lee Curtis ending up in third place. And color me shocked that somebody would beat Ke Huy Quan for Best Supporting Actor. It happened in the BAFTAs, and it wasn't Brendan Gleeson that prevailed, but co-star Barry Keoghan. Having said that, I don't think things change much in the next few weeks, unless a similar shocker happens to the SGAs. Kwan's still leading the way, but I think Keegan's win is enough for him to jump to second place, and Brendan Gleeson will round up the top three. For Best Actress, we could be on the verge of history. Thanks to the BAFTAs, I think Cate Blanchett has extended her lead over Michelle Yeoh. If she prevails, she will join such luminaries as Meryl Streep, Jack Nicholson, Frances McDormand, Ingrid Bergman, and Daniel Day-Lewis as three-time Oscar winners. Rounding up the top three, we're to go with shock nominee Andrea Riseborough, who I think is finding it's one thing to get enough support to get a nomination. It's something else to actually win the Oscar itself. Perhaps the second biggest surprise of the BAFTAs was Best Actor. You think they'd have gone with Colin Farrell as the local favorite. And of course, Bill Nighy and Paul Mescal are there as well. But surprise, surprise, the voters went with Austin Butler. In Shades of Bohemian Rhapsody a few years ago that carried Rami Malek to an Oscar, it's starting to look like Elvis would do the same for Butler. The SGAs would determine whether that stays the narrative or perhaps Brendan Fraser or Farrell can turn back into a competition. And with that, we are down to two categories. Let's go ahead and tackle Best Director. For the longest time, the narrative was honoring The Fabelmans by giving Spielberg Best Director. Cut and print, right? Wrong. The DGAs went with the wildly inventive Daniels, and the BAFTAs chose non-nominee Edward Berger for All Quiet. What does it mean? I think what it means is that the Daniels are now in the lead to win Best Director, with Spielberg down to second place. I am going to stick with Martin McDonagh in third, but the margin between him and Todd Field is kind of thin. And now it's time to tackle Best Picture, the main event. I did something different here, putting him in five categories. No chance, so you're saying there's a chance, has a chance, dark horse, and favorites. Under no chance, I got Women Talking, whose ceiling is going to be winning adapted screenplay, and whose four is walking away empty-handed. I also have Avatar: The Way of Water, which is winning visual effects, and at the moment, nothing else. So you're saying there is a chance, consists of one long shot for Best Picture, and that would be Triangle of Sadness, which has gotten some support from the Europeans. But I think right now, despite the fact it got some surprise nominations, it looks like it's going to be walking away empty-handed. Now we jump over to Has a Chance, which features two films that has a chance to leave with something. But could Best Picture be among them? The Fabelmans look like they might be leaving the ceremony empty-handed, unless Steven Spielberg somehow comes back and wins Best Director. Elvis looks like he'll win costumes, makeup, and hairstyling, and is currently ahead for Best Actor. But it does have a chance to take Best Picture. Of course, the thing that's kind of worrisome about that one is it doesn't have a screenplay or director's nomination in their quarter. They do have an editing nomination, though, and that is certainly something that isn't to be looked at lightly. Now we take a look at Dark Horses. I got three films in the mix, two of which also has film editing nominations, and a third film took home Best Picture in the BAFTAs. Let's start with Tar, which looks like Cate Blanchett will probably win Best Actress. Perhaps it will sneak through in another category for Todd Field under Director Original Screenplay. And then we got Top Gun Maverick, which looks like the film that restarted the box office last summer. It looked like it was going to win Best Sound at the minimum, with possibly several other categories as possible scores. And it did get named as Best Film by the National Board of Review. Perhaps Oscar will agree with them. Finally, last but not least, is BAFTA Best Picture winner, All Quiet on the Western Front. I think it will have some strong support for the international contingent, which did not hurt Parasite when it won a few years ago. And last but not least are the favorites. They've been this way for a little while now. The Banshees of Inisherin appears to have a good chance at original screenplay, but after that, I'm not really sure. And then, last but not least, we got Everything Everywhere All at Once, which looks like a good bet to win Best Director, Best Supporting Actor, and Film Editing, as well as a possible chance to win Best Actress as well. Right now, I think it's going to end up winning Best Picture. Now let's take a look at some final notes before calling it here. The last Oscar watch for 2022-2023, the one where I actually predict who wins, will probably drop in early March before the Oscar ceremony on the 9th. Speaking of which, I'm going to try to live stream my reactions on the Oscars itself on YouTube, and hopefully I will see you there. And keep an eye out for some individual reviews of Oscar nominated films that will be dropping soon. I'll give you a hint. I mentioned a couple of these earlier. So, what do you think? Leave your comments in the section below. Smash that like button and hit the bell to be notified when I drop more videos. Subscribe and spread the word. I will see you next time, as the ticket booth is now closed.